Hello world, Deke, Sharon here. I want to tell you about something that is very important. The value of vocal harmony in education. I get asked questions all the time. Hey, this a cappella thing's really cool, but I mean, in school, or like, what's the real point of it? STEM is important and people need to, have real jobs. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people making a full-time career of contemporary a cappella, let alone all the other styles of a cappella, let alone all of the hundreds of thousands of people that sing choral music and they're educators and singers and vocalists. Forget all that. There is actual specific educational value to vocal harmony. And this is beyond the educational value of music, okay? You already know these things, but I'm gonna list them for you again. You read about them in Time magazine. Increased IQ. Increased test scores, the length of education, people stay in school longer and they get better grades. There's decreased substance abuse, more spatial intelligence. People who are singing in choirs and are making music have a social network and a structure and they're happier. So that's all things about music. But what is there specifically about vocal harmony? Number one, you learn how to listen. And I'm not talking about hearing. When you sit in class, you have to hear the professor. You have to hear what's going on. I'm talking about actually listening, actively listening to other notes, to other parts, to vowels, to blend. It teaches you to take in information through your ears in a more fine-tuned sense than anything else in the world. Particularly in a cappella, because without that listening, without that fine-tuned sense, you're not able to really match vowels and blend and cast those overtones up above. And then you can take that into everything else in your life. You're better at listening to other people when they're talking to you. You're better at listening and hearing sounds all around you when you're walking down the street. I mean, it's a really valuable skill to have, listening. Number two, you learn how to not be the most important thing. Okay, when I was growing up in the 70s, there's the most important person in the whole wide world is you. And supposedly this whole idea that like you matter has changed our whole perspective on life in a negative way. I guess in the 50s and 60s, it was kind of like, know your place. And it's actually valuable that everybody does have a sense of self-worth and knows that they have something important inside of them. But maybe it's been taken to an extreme right now where so many people are just really focused on themselves and narcissism is kind of over the top and people are taking selfies all the time and videos and Facebook pages are just flooded with me, look at me, look at me, look at me. When you're in an a cappella group, you're just not the most important person at all. You get to be occasionally. Sometimes you step forward, sometimes you have a solo or a little standout moment, but most of the time it's about the group, it's not about you. And that is a message that people who are 12 years old should have and people who are 112 years old should have. We all need to know what it is to be in an ensemble and to work towards something greater. And I think that people get this in sports, and I think they end up getting it in the military. But when you do it in a cappella, you get the next thing, which is you always win. Number three. You always win. When you're in a sports team, let's say you're in the NFL, only one team wins the Super Bowl and everybody else loses, right? But when you sing and you make great music, it's not about winning or losing. You've won. You've created something beautiful. And you can learn to do it time and time again. You can give your gift to people who don't have that gift of song. You can move into different places and inspire others to sing. This is super powerful. That sense of creating something with others that is always valued, that is always powerful, that is always beautiful. And let me back up a little bit. Well, here's number four, the simple message that the sum is greater than the individual parts. That teamwork is an essential aspect of the human experience. There are too many times that we as Americans in particular, we think about Alexander Graham Bell or Edison, these great inventors, Steve Jobs as it were, like that's the genius, that person invented the iPhone. No, it was hundreds if not thousands of people building on the work of decades if not centuries of technology and growth. And this idea that it's one person and he's the hero, it's a little bit ridiculous. It's a little bit unnecessary and it's a little bit damaging to all of us who are living our lives and trying to figure out how do we make the world a better place? How do we create something beautiful? You know how you do it? You do it with other people. And when you're in a vocal harmony group, when you're in an a cappella group, that experience of teamwork, of learning how to create something great is the whole thing. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you get your way, sometimes you don't. But that's what you need to know if you're gonna do anything valuable in this world. Pretty much anything is gonna require that teamwork. And in a vocal harmony group, be it a classical choir, a church choir, a barbershop group, contemporary a cappella, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get that experience, that incredible teamwork. Number five, aesthetics. When you make music with your voice, when you sing in vocal harmony, you're creating something beautiful, and you get to know what that feels like from the inside. When you're painting a painting, it's out there, outside of you. And yet when you're singing a chord, you're a part of this thing. I know I'm sounding a little West Coast hippy dippy trippy, but there's something spiritual about it. And that's why vocal music is in the church. It's the number one means of expression religiously. When you go to church, in fact, the word a cappella means in the style of the chapel. You raise your voices in song with other people and you feel what it is to be connected to something greater than yourself. And this is regardless of your belief system. You might think that means this or it means that, but either way you have it. And sometimes that greater thing beside yourself is just the sense of being a part of a community of other people, having those other people around you, and the beauty that you create together. Being inside of that is a transformative experience that gives you hope and excitement. And regardless of how your day is going, it gives you a couple of things. It gives you a greater sense of emotional intelligence, because when you're making this music, you're connected to your emotions. We study all the different aspects about how to be intellectually and how to learn, but we don't spend that much time studying how to feel. And when you're singing, that's what you're doing. You're spending time understanding these moods and these messages and these meanings, and it gives you more intelligence around that, more of a sensitivity and an ability to connect and communicate with others around emotion, which is a very important part of what we need to do on this earth. And finally, happiness. People are reading books, they're taking classes, they're going out of their way to try to find out how they can be more happy. Well, when you sing in a group, your body releases endorphins, oxytocin, like you are flooded with the good chemicals naturally occurring in your body. This is something that has been proven time and again. Again, go online, go look for this stuff. Go look for harmony and endorphins or singing and oxytocin, like you'll find it. There are articles out there, it's been proven scientifically. When you sing, you're happier. And I don't know anybody who doesn't want to be happier. So, and let me leave you with this thought. You don't have to be great to do it. You don't even have to be mediocre. You get all of these benefits, every single one of these benefits at any level. You can be a complete rank amateur singing in a choir that you think like, well, we're not that great, but we love it. That's it. That's what you need. That's why I do this, spread harmony through harmony. Here's the thing, STEM, education, excellent. I'm completely 100% a fan of math and science and engineering. It's fantastic. But there's also a real need for culture and art and humanity. These things give us reason and focus. Remember that the human experience is multifaceted, and you should read the latest Neil deGrasse Tyson book, and you should sing along to the radio. So that's it. The educational value of vocal harmony. 4 out of 5 Dekes, nope, 5 out of 5 Dekes recommend you sing, and you sing now. Share this with a friend. Try to convince anybody that you know that isn't singing to give it a whirl. Because if you get one other person singing, it will change their life in so many ways for the better. Anyway, I hope this video helps. See you next time.